last time on the curse of Esmeralda.
Kane and Syndra were total badasses and totally cracked into a sweet wagon that lured out a mysterious vampire hunter woman with one leg that's made out of a metal prosthetic of some description.
It's
And then
wood.
she took us up
She's a
into
pirate.
It's
the
wood.
tower, and there was a weird elevator that only 2 people could go on because some people are fat. The
I
end.
think my recaps are better.
Kane, I thought that was wonderful.
Thank you.
That was great. We also learned that Rictavio is not his real name. It is Dr. Rudolph van Richten.
Richten.
Richten is what we're going with now. I think I've been mispronouncing that. I think it's supposed to be
Cool.
Richten.
Okay.
Leaston.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, actually, I would have I actually would like the group to roll. What do we have? Do we have, is there history? A history check? Can I have the group roll a history check?
Mhm.
Yeah.
My
It's
history
nat 20.
is very good.
Nat 20. Okay.
Oh, I had a really good roll, and then it just that last little
That's
edge.
close. Yeah. Okay. How about the others?
13.
-1. I don't even know what I had for breakfast.
You literally forgot something that you knew. Matter of fact, Kane has heard of Dr. Rudolph van Richten in his studies. He is legendary. Anyways, continue with the recap. Look at your fat cat pouch.
Josh, what happened?
I just rolled a -1 on my history, and you want me to recap what happened a week ago? No.
Oh God. Got her.
No participation.
I'm
in
just
the
dying.
intro. Doug's dead.
Anyways, do you have anything to contribute to this?
Wait, what was wrong with Kane's recap?
It was fine.
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, you can't ride the elevator if you're fat. Good recap.
No, you covered a lot more than that.
No, fat people can ride it. They just have to ride it alone.
Still alone. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you discovered a wagon in front of the tower. You searched it, you met a lady. And you chatted with her very briefly before the session ended.
But now we're like with her in the tower in the warms.
You are with her in the tower. It is warmer than outside. I would still not say that it is warm, but it is for sure warmer than outside. Yes. Okay. So we're going to pick up where we left off in the 4th floor of the tower. I'm pretty sure Zug is passed out on the bed, or at least laying down on the bed, maybe tending to his wounds. And then the rest of you may have been chatting with Esmeralda. And yeah, I think that's probably around where we left off. Couple of things to sort of set the stage again is that you did notice that Esmeralda is definitely looking a little worse for wear. But she has not mentioned this to you.
Wait, in what way? Like we noticed open wounds or something?
I think the way that I phrased it last time was like damaged / wounded.
Oh, she's missing a leg.
Not that.
I mean, yes, but that's been there for a while.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna pick us back up in the room, which again, just to sort of describe that room that you guys are in. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a bed. There's a desk with some various papers that Esmeralda has sat in the chair of. There's a suit of armor standing next to a wooden chest. And the room smells better than the room below, but you can still kind of smell the glimmers of a little bit of rot here and there. Mixed
The glimmer of rot.
mixed with the smell of intense lavender aroma that is actually emanating from the wooden chest by the animated armor. I said animated armor, it's regular armor. I'm used to saying animated armor. That does not mean it's animated
Don't
armor.
approach the
Armor is
armor.
definitely not animated. Forget what I said.
It's not necessarily.
Yeah, right. It's gonna fucking kill me.
It's fucking animated as hell.
Also, yeah, okay. Yes, next to the suit of armor that is standing there, that does, to be fair, kind of resemble the armor that you encountered when you were in the House of Dread.
Death House?
That one.
So we're Zug is like on the elevator and the rest of us are sitting around with
Zug's in the
everyone.
bed.
Oh, I thought he had to stay on the elevator because it was gonna collapse the tower.
No. Esmeralda was a little concerned about the amount of weight that the fourth floor could hold, but it seems to be holding. The fourth floor is much more intact than the third and second floor, especially the third. The third is falling apart a little bit.
But the rest of us are sitting around chatting.
Should you like? Yeah. That's where you were, yes.
We haven't asked where she's just coming from, have we, guys? Team?
She came back from Castle Ravenloft.
So, okay.
That was my last note. My last note.
Nice.
The fact that she came back at all is impressive, to be honest.
So we think she got roughed up at Castle Ravenloft. I can talk to her.
Would you like to talk to her, or do you want to just
Wow,
go to
how much
sleep?
charisma do you have? That's a great idea.
I don't know, dude. You're the one with the golden fucking D20. Like skills don't matter in this campaign.
That's true.
Kind of true.
D&D in general.
Okay. Ramis has been sitting pondering thoughtfully for over a week now, and he finally turns to Esmeralda. Says, in a charming way.
Of course.
May I call you that?
I prefer if you do not.
Where you have just returned from Ravenloft. And
Yes.
you look bedraggled.
Is that a word?
Yes.
Hell yeah, it's a word. Good word.
She lets out a sigh. Yes. Unfortunately, my endeavors proved to not be worthwhile. Not this time, not yet.
What are you taking on Strahd?
I must do something. I cannot sit around and wait for my mentor or someone to come to this realm and relieve it.
But you must find him now. Is that not the case?
I am still holding out hope that he will show up. I know that he was living here. She gestures towards the documents. And I have a feeling that something will go amiss and he will show up.
I believe it is in our interest to help you, but I also believe we are not quite up to snuff, as one might say, yet to get involved directly. Can I tell you about what we know about Barovia and perhaps get your guidance?
She pauses and looks at you and she says, I would love to hear about what you've learned so far. I also believe that I can help bring you up to snuff, especially if you have had contact with my mentor already. Do you know where he was going? Did he say that he was coming here?
As your memory fails you, but yes. Yes, he was headed here.
And she says, it may be wise to stay here for a few days and heal. And she looks over towards Zug and looks down at her own wounds.
Zug will snore.
And she says, we can possibly learn to trust one another and exchange information.
Of course, let me help you with that. I would like to cast Healing Word upon Esmeralda.
Nice.
She
Nice.
graciously accepts.
Okay, boom, let's see what we get. Jesus, 7.
She heals for 7?
Yes.
Okay.
I say something fancy under my breath, and I make sure to make a bit of a show of it while making fierce eye contact with Esmeralda.
Are you going to tell us the fancy thing that you said?
Voila. I'm assuming she doesn't know French, so
She's just like, what?
yeah, it sounded cool. And then say, you being a Vistani, perhaps the most important thing we can tell you is about a woman named Madame Eva.
She says, of course. She says, I know Madame Eva personally.
We, things might have turned a bit sour, but before that, she told us things we must seek in Barovia. I believe to help us defeat Strahd. Is that possible? Is that why she might have given us a fortune?
Her
Yes,
eyes
I remember
widen
those
when she hears
cards.
this. And she says, Madame Eva's fortunes are most certainly to be taken with the utmost importance. And she says, unfortunately, due to my circumstance, I have been a Vistani outcast for some time now. But I know that Madame Eva's word and predictions are as good as gold. And she leans in and she says, what did she tell you that you need to seek?
Yes, I was hoping you could help us polish this gold, as not all of it was completely clear to us. She told us that a treasure we seek lies with the dead under mountains of gold, coins. We have not come across any riches so far, quite the opposite.
She furrows her brow and her eyes start to dart back and forth as she attempts to recall something that that seems like what you're describing. And she says, the crypt. She says,
Yes.
she says, when I was attempting to escape and making my way through the halls of Castle Ravenloft, I came across the crypt. Mountains of gold. Yes. It is perhaps the crypt in Ravenloft that she is talking about? So Esmeralda has just told you that she believes that one of these very important notes that you've been given could be part of the crypt in Ravenloft.
That sounds rather dangerous.
How easy is it to find our way into the crypt of Castle Ravenloft? That sounds like risky business.
Harrowing.
She scans the room and her eyes go from Ramis to the rest of the party. And she looks over at Sindra and then Kane and then Zug, who's like laying on the bed, nearly dead, mouth ajar, drool just slightly.
Bloody drool.
And she says, "You are not yet ready. But with time, I believe that we could sneak in and access the treasure that you seek."
Yes. Can I tell you the rest of the reading?
Please.
Well, let me look through my notes. I start scrolling through my journal, page
He
by
starts
page.
scrolling up on his iPhone.
No, no Instagram. No, not now. She also mentioned something about a faceless god. He awaits us at the end of a long and winding road, deep in the mountains.
She pauses again, her mind, and you can like almost literally see the gears turning. It's that palpable. And she says, "The windy road that she speaks of is probably Solenka Pass, but I do not know of the faceless that she speaks of."
Very well.
Solenka Pass is very perilous. I have traveled it once myself. I almost did not make it.
What were you doing? What lies along the path?
It is rumored, and it is marked on the map, that there is a temple. Well, she hasn't actually been there, so she can't confirm.
Is rumored by looking at
That
this
there is
map.
a temple at the end of Solenka Pass. A temple that is very dear to Strahd and holds many secrets.
To what god was this temple erected?
I do not know. I do not know if it was erected to a god whatsoever.
Okay. She also told us about a weapon of vengeance, a sword of pure sunlight. She told us to find the mother, she who gave birth to evil.
Queen Ravenovia.
Yes.
He's laughing. Is my accent that
No,
bad?
no, I'm just trying to write
Oh,
these
no,
fucking
okay.
names, and I'm just like
Green Rabbit.
Ravenovia.
Queen
Queen Spaghetti
Ravioli.
Bolognese.
Ravenolia.
Spaghetti.
Ravenovia.
Are we muted, babe?
No, I don't think so.
Say something, Nate.
I'm saying things.
I can't hear
Can
Nate.
you not hear
Yeah,
me?
that's what I mean.
Your audio is
I can't
like
hear
Yeah, we
Josh
can't
either.
hear
switching.
Oh no, it is me.
Sorry if you all have been talking and I've just been ignoring you.
They can
By
hear
the-
us at least.
Yeah.
Josh, can you
Why
hear?
can't I hear them?
Nate, when you start talking, it's like really low. After
Mhm.
like a second, it'll pick up. So it's like you have two audio things going on.
Who is this
Can you
queen?
hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, but it's still doing it.
Wait, I didn't hear the game that time.
Is it cutting some? Is it cutting off or something?
It's okay now.
It just sounds really low and then it'll get high.
I know what you're talking about, Josh. Like I've heard that
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Well, we
Where
can
it's
we
like
can hear.
quiet and then it gets really loud suddenly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems okay for now. We'll address it if it comes up again.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you just ask?
I asked her to indulge me with more details about this person, Queen Ravioli.
Queen Ravenovia.
That's what I said.
Tortellini.
And she says, if it is not obvious, this is whom Castle Ravenloft was named for.
No, it was not obvious.
That is Strahd's mother.
Hmm.
Hmm.
How is she doing these days?
She is very dead.
Hmm.
Has been for quite some time. My estimates are maybe close to 500 years.
So to find her, we are looking for her grave, perhaps in the crypt.
Her tomb is in Castle Ravenloft.
Hmm. Let us move on then. I want nothing to do with this castle just yet. She mentioned an ally. I don't believe she mentioned you.
Typical.
Though time will tell. She mentioned a wizard, and I believe we might know where this wizard is. A mad wizard. But,
She like looks over at Kane. There's something you guys haven't told me.
Kane
A different
is,
mad wizard.
Kane is quite insane, but we already know him. We believe he is north of the lake. I forgot the name of the lake. Lake
Zarovich?
Ohulahan.
North of Valaki.
North of Valaki.
Zarovich?
Yes, that is what I said.
Yes,
Thank you.
that sounds familiar.
You have a map, assholes.
I don't have the map.
I don't have it in front of
It's
me.
pinned.
Kane
Pulling
knows.
it up.
Is it in Discord?
Josh literally pinned it in Discord. I don't want to hear your goddamn
I'm-
excuses. I gave you a
I'm
map,
sorry.
and I will delete it.
We're
like,
so used to
repeating-
not having a map.
I'm repeating our reading like verbatim. I'm sorry I didn't have the map in front
I
of me.
will delete the map if you do not want it, okay?
True. It's very important to pay attention in Discord. You're right. I'm sorry.
He's
Damn.
sending it to
Okay, so yes, like we believe he might be in the Svalak woods.
I heard phallic woods.
Phallic Woods.
You have a map, Danny.
Yeah. How come you don't know where Phallic woods are, babe? It's a
Aren't
place.
all
Expect
woods
you to
phallic,
know
though?
of these phallic woods. There are some woods that look rather phallic on this
But listen,
map.
Ramis is happy to talk about Phallic wood. What's her charisma?
Probably pretty high.
Right.
Y'all done?
What did she say? I didn't say Phallic woods. Svalak woods.
She says, yes, I also believe that I know of the man that you speak. There are legends in the Vistani camps about the Mad Mage.
We might have heard a few of them.
It is said that he died, but some remain hopeful that he has been living in the woods. He is very brave, if the stories are true.
Should we be afraid of him? How mad is he?
Well, he did not used to be mad, but after spending all of this time in the woods by himself, things may have changed. She says, he is a very powerful wizard, from what I know. But again, most are stories and rumors. No one has actually seen the Mad Mage in over a year. I think it might be a good idea to go and see if he's actually out there.
I don't believe Madame Eva would send us on a wild goose chase. We might head there next.
She says, I believe that that is a good idea. Not to mention, there is a Vistani camp south of Valaki in the general direction. And it would be a good place to go and ask some questions.
What could we hope to gain from talking to more Vistani?
It is possible that the Vistani know the whereabouts of my mentor.
Mm, okay. Like you said, I believe your mentor will come. We have befriended him in a way.
She sits back in her chair and she says, well, Josh, your screen's all green again.
I like it.
It's okay. You can just be green. Stop
No,
it.
let me
Stop
change
going.
cameras.
It's not easy being Zug.
Anyways, she says, she sits back in her chair and she says, you may believe that you have befriended him. He is good at giving that impression, much like yourself. But Dr. Van Richten, he works alone. And he has a very complicated past involving the Vistani and myself. And I believe that he may return and he may volunteer information in exchange with us. But I worry that he will not join our efforts.
We don't need another rogue pretending to be an entertainer in our party, to be honest. We are merely friends. We helped him in Valaki. And I have no reason to believe he drew us out here for a joke.
And she says, yes. And again, I think we should wait here for a couple of days to heal, to maybe
Days.
talk to Dr. Van Richten. And it might be a good idea to go for the low-hanging fruit of Madame Eva's predictions.
So you must mean the last part of her reading.
I certainly do.
No, this part. Our enemy's powers are beyond mortality.
Mm.
He waits for us in a place of wisdom, warmth, and despair. Great secrets are there. Is she talking about Strahd?
I believe that Madame Eva is referring to Strahd as the enemy. A place of warmth and great secrets. It is possible that this is another place in Castle Ravenloft. It could be, the place I am envisioning is potentially the study. There is a fireplace, but I do not know of any secrets that are held there.
Should you find yourself back in the castle anytime soon, please have a look for us.
She laughs. I do not plan on revisiting the tower anytime soon. I am pretty sure that Strahd has it out for me. And also, if I travel with you, he might also have it out for you.
As this was a joke, you have spent far too long on your one leg.
She stares at you and she says, do not mistake me. This is not a joke.
Which part?
Strahd being dangerous.
This is why we plan to avoid him as long as we can. You may join us in avoiding him. That seems to be the best strategy for now.
I think we should travel to seek out the wizard.
Agreed.
If Madame Eva truly thinks that this is your greatest ally, it must be important.
We appreciate your wisdom. Thank you.
She says, I know a good deal of the lands of Barovia, even only having been here for a couple of months. But I also know that there are many secrets that are still left to be uncovered. And facing that alone is the greatest challenge. I would not be opposed to working with you for some time until it is no longer appropriate.
Tell me honestly, is it my eyes or my hair? Or the whole package? You seem eager to join us.
She smiles and she says, actually, it is her eyes.
Oh,
Oh,
Ramis will stand up laughing and starts strumming his lute for all to hear.
Not another song about his package.
The phallic woods north of Valaki. They resemble the great Ramis. And he looks at Cain, gets right in his face. The greatest trees in all of the land, Cain.
He just gets right up in your face.
Does a couple of thrusts in the air and then sits down.
Oh, I haven't been able to thrust like that in decades.
Let me thrust for us both, Cain.
oh my God.
Upon seeing this display, Esmeralda says, I thought Dr. Van Richten was a character.
We bring out the best in one another, as you shall come to find us in time.
Yeah, so it would seem. And she says, okay, so I would like to take my rest. Can I trust that this information is secure?
Yes, of course. Unless, of course, we are attacked by a bunch of werewolves again.
And she furrows her brow and she says, you were attacked by werewolves?
Yes, we were. We
Wow, what a
barely
shit
escaped.
DM. Sorry, who broke the fourth wall there?
The gods are most cruel in this world.
She says, I am very familiar with werewolves. And she points to her wooden leg.
Oh.
Oh, was that from a werewolf, was it?
Unfortunately, my encounters with werewolves have been mostly negative.
Can't say I've ever heard of a positive one. You should tell us the story of this leg, Cain says, completely oblivious to social norms.
And she says, well, it's not much of a story. It was certainly one of my less successful adventures, and a werewolf bit off my leg from the knee down. And to be thankful for something, I was not afflicted with lycanthropy. But I was sidelined for months.
How did you avoid the lycanthropy?
Well, quick thinking. And she motions, and she makes a flat hand like this, and she motions with it, and she goes like this. And she's like doing it in complete jest. She's like, quick thinking. And she continues, I commissioned a master artisan to craft this prosthetic. After several tries, he finally delivered a prosthetic that did in fact restored my mobility, and since I have adapted quite well to this false appendage, I do not feel that it massively inhibits me, but it is a constant reminder to stay on guard.
Ramis is still singing. Is cut off her leg. Now she stands upon a peg. I had to. That just came out.
She must be really light on her feet.
And it's actually funny because like her coat looks very pirate-like, as you guys saw on the image I sent you.
She's straight up a pirate.
And she says, and also it's not a peg, it is like a full foot and leg.
Didn't we get a picture of her or something like that?
You did.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you could almost mistake that for a cool boot.
Yeah, it's like very artisanal.
Is she taking issue with my song?
Not really.
Okay.
She doesn't really give a shit. Not really.
Just come to expect these kind of shenanigans.
She's a tough one. She says, okay, and now I will take my rest. And she goes and she sits down on the bed next to Zug. And she says, do you mind scooting over a little bit?
Good luck moving that one.
She instead grabs the blanket and puts it down on the floor. And she lays down on the floor and she says, let us rest here. We will be safe. The door is locked. And it is actually quite hard to get in. Supposedly.
Yeah, I was going to say. Apparently not.
Not many have succeeded. Apparently, Barovians are not all that intelligent. She says, I also do not believe that many people are trying to get in here because it does kind of resemble an old rotting tower. And with that, she lays down and she closes her eyes. And at that very moment, the rusty elevator chains start to move. And she,
Rattle,
Yeah,
rattle,
you go.
y'all.
Would this be Octavio then? Or Van Vinovich?
And as the rusty elevator chains begin to move, Esmeralda sits straight up and looks over at the shaft. And the platform begins to descend. And she stands up and begins to walk over to look down the hole. Would the rest of you like to do anything or stay in your places?
Be not alarmed. Who else could it be?
I'll wander over there and poke my head down.
I'm still asleep.
You are still asleep.
I guess
I'll run over to Zug and like smack his leg. Be like, wake up.
Ramis will stand over the shaft and yell down, how is the tiger?
I'm going to turn on the light. Hold on.
Can't hear him anymore.
They
All
the
right.
switch turned off.
Oh, there we go.
So you yell down, how is the tiger?
Yeah.
A voice yells back up to you. Pretty good. Thanks to you. And you look down, and all you see is the descending elevator shaft continuing to go down to the third floor, second floor, first floor, And as it reaches the first floor, you see 60 feet down a colorfully dressed man that you recognize as Rictavio, aka Dr. Rudolph Van Richten. He steps onto the elevator platform and he starts to ascend. And as he ascends, his features look different than you remember. He looks slightly different. He looks even a bit older than you remember. He looks close to 80, pretty old. And when you saw him, he looked maybe like 50 or 60. And now he looks closer to like 80. But you recognize the features and the voice and the clothing.
Octavio, you look like you have been lost for years, my friend. It has only been a day.
Arcana check.
Come on, Ramis. Come on. What the fuck?
Yes. 20.
24.
All right,
Negative
Kane,
2.
I'm going to start calling you for my roles now, okay?
Sorry, Zug, what was that?
-2. Critical fail.
You have literally unlearned something that you knew about magic.
What did you know?
Yeah, exactly. What did I know?
Nothing. Okay, so the two of you, Kane and Syndra, recognize. Look at his face.
Aw.
Oh, a
Really
He's
plain
gotten so
boy.
much nicer.
I told you he loves Ryan. Look at that.
So
They're
cute.
best
Ridiculous.
friends. I wish you could like see the way he's laying. It's so cute.
Aw.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's just so chill. Look at that one. Oh, hey, Cheddar.
Yeah,
I
Aw.
see Cheddar's just like alone back there.
just the jealous gaze.
She's been sitting on my lap all day. Don't feel bad for her.
Nice.
So the two of you recognize that this is, you make an assumption, an educated guess, that this is due to a disguise spell.
How educated and good is my guess? Does Kane feel confident?
You feel pretty confident. You can't think of anything else, and you feel like this would do that.
Ah, take off that old disguise, you old bastard.
Sorry. Sorry, I would like to rephrase.
He had a disguise before.
He was having a disguise before.
Oh,
This is
well, that's no
different.
fun. So he is an old man.
Mm.
All right, never mind then. I was trying to be fun.
Put your mask back on, you bastard.
Back on, you are ugly.
Yeah, you looked better before. Jesus.
So he begins to ascend the elevator. You notice these features about him, and he makes eye contact with Esmeralda, and he says, "Ah, so you are here." And she smiles back at him. She says, "Of course I am, you old croon." And he says, "It is so good to see you, Esmeralda." "It is very good to see you too, my mentor." And she says, "I have met these adventurers who claim to be friends of yours." And he says, "Why, yes. This fine gang of individuals helped me in a little bit of a bind." And she says, "That sounds only appropriate." And he says to the group, "So, what do you think of my protege so far? Has she told you everything?"
She has been quite helpful.
Is that okay? And he says, "Good. This is good." And he says, "I saw the wagon. I thought you might be here, but I wanted to take some time to look through and scout out the situation, make sure that it was safe. I saw just about everything that happened. He was nearby while you guys were all attempting to break into a wagon whose wagon he knew who it was." And
This is strange behavior, Rictavio.
he says, "Please call me Rudolph."
Very well.
He says, "I feel there might be some details that it is important for us to catch up on."
Like we should have stayed for the Festival of the Burning Sun because it was amazing.
He says, "Those festivals are always the worst."
Fascist, perhaps.
"I apologize for lying to you. It was not intentional. I have been trying to ascertain information, and I presume a good phrase for it would be hiding in plain sight in Vallaki for some time. Unfortunately, there was an incident, and it was time to take my leave. I'm glad that you have met Esmeralda." And he looks over at Esmeralda and he says, "What have you been doing?" And she says, "Chasing your tail, as always." And she rolls her eyes at him. And he says, "Yes, well, I would be happy to tell you what I have learned and everything that I know. But as you know, I will not be staying for long." And she says, "What? So you can continue this vengeful vendetta against my kind?" And she scowls and squints at him. And he says, "You know that this is something that I must do." And she says, "And what of this group? They claim they have spoken with Madame Eva, and they have instructions for how to actually defeat Strahd." And Rudolph furrows his brow and he says, "You have spoken with Madame Eva. That is quite interesting. Who alerted you to Madame Eva's presence?"
Who's he looking at?
Doesn't matter. He's probably talking to Kane or Ramis, who are the two people that have historically talked to him. Also, is Doug still asleep?
I'm rousing right now. Somebody slapped my leg and I was just scratching it.
Ken, do you want to take this one?
Actually, Vistani came to us outside of a town that we were visiting. Told us they were in need of assistance and convinced us to travel with them. Unfortunately for us, we seem to have traveled into Barovia on a one-way ticket.
Yeah, his mic's doing the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, is there a problem?
It's like quiet and then really loud and then quiet.
And then it goes quiet again.
Yeah. But we can still hear you. It's just,
Yeah, I mean, I caught it.
it's not the best, but we can hear you. We can understand you. Also, can I turn on this light? Hold on. Better. Look, we're all
Nice.
up now.
I liked
Yay.
the
Wow.
dramatic lighting.
No, I like you in this lighting. Look at that. Come on.
Relax.
No. And he scowls and his demeanor shifts slightly.
Those goddamn Vistani.
And he says, "Oh, Vistani. The Vistani told you to speak with Madame Ava. Sounds like a setup." And Esmeralda again kind of like nudges him and rolls her eyes again, and she says, "Not all Vistani are what you believe that they are." And you are all very clearly picking up on the vibe that like Rudolph is super racist. He does not like Vistani.
Are we pseudo-racist by now, though?
I mean, maybe. I don't know if you are, but he kind of is.
Don't we also know that the Vistani are basically in the Strahd's pocket?
Right, exactly.
You have heard rumors that some Vistani are spies for Strahd. Yeah.
A good chunk of them.
But
by our
you also are human beings that understand that generalizing an entire ethnic group is probably racist.
This is a very progressive area of D&D.
Yeah. So, and Esmeralda is a Vistani, and you have met a Vistani who very clearly, to you at least, and her charisma is incredibly high, so you do like her whether or not you want to.
She likes me then, automatically. She loves me.
She does like you.
Yes! Yes!
She likes your song. And and she's annoyed by the fact that Rudolph has this like very generalized perspective.
The Vistani were recruiting us for help. We were tricked, but we now know why. The stakes were quite high for them.
He says, "Yes. This place is unlike anywhere that I have ever traveled before, and I understand why desperate times do call for desperate measures. But do be warned. Some Vistani," and he looks kindly towards Esmeralda, "can be trusted, but many cannot." And he says, "And that is part of what brings me to the next very unfortunate thing that I must tell you." And he stops and he says, "You look like you could use some rest." And he looks at Esmeralda, who seems to be pretty disheveled, and looks at the party, who is kind of like, you guys are kind of dirty at this point. And I'm pretty sure that Syndra literally is like completely covered in mud. And that Kane is also completely covered in mud. And you probably look okay.
I'm squeaky fucking clean.
No, I mean, your shoes are gross.
No,
You walked through a ton
I
of
would have
mud.
prestidigitated them.
Okay. Ramis cannot stand to have any dirt on him at any time.
No.
And Zug is also pretty muddy from sitting down in the mud outside, and also pretty dead looking from all the werewolf attacks. So
It also just looks dead.
so Rudolph says, it looks like the lot of you could use some rest. We should discuss more in the morning." And he says, "I have set up a trap and a barrier, so it should be safe here for the night." And with that, he takes in like a deep inhale. And suddenly, he looks over towards the wooden chest sitting by the suit of armor. And he says, "Ah, yes. Have you gotten to know my friend yet?"
is he asking us?
He's asking the entire group.
Hmm.
And if you want to respond before Esmeralda, you can. Otherwise, she will.
Do you have a mimic made of lavender?
Octavio laughs and he says, ha, maybe better not to speak with my friends this evening. And he once again sort of nods and he says, we should all get some rest. I know that these are not the most comfortable accommodations, but it is better than camping in the woods. Don't you say? And Esmeralda says, I was just about to sleep the moment that you arrived. And with that, she grabs her little bag of things and takes that blanket from earlier and sort of ruffles it up and lays down to go to sleep. Rudolph walks over to the desk chair to look through some of his notes and begin writing some more notes. And it is nighttime. So Esmeralda is going to go to bed, and Rudolph is going to continue to write vigorously at his workstation. How about the rest of you?
Is this like a pretty cramped space? It doesn't sound like there's a lot of room for all of the number of people.
It is not super cramped. There would be room for everyone to lie down on the floor. Yeah, there would be room for everyone to lie down on the floor if you wanted to sleep on the floor. Otherwise, you could go out and camp outside if you prefer to do that, or on a different floor.
But there aren't any windows or anything on this floor.
There are windows that are dirty. There's a few windows. Yeah, some dirty windows.
Rumis will look out one of the windows and prestidigitate it clean so that he may gaze upon Barovia.
So I'm assuming you want to look out a eastern facing window or southern facing window?
Tight.
Okay. So you walk over to a window, try to clean it up and look out.
No.
Okay. How about the rest of the group?
You guys think we should sleep in shifts just to be super safe?
I'll take the last shift.
These two motherfuckers they better protect us, is all I gotta say. But sure, yeah, if you want.
I think Rictavio is shifty, and I don't trust him at all. So maybe shifts, if you guys are cool with it. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I have to look up. I think Asimar needs sleep like humans do.
Was the first time you're looking this up?
Well, and the sleeping has never come up in this campaign.
You guys have slept out in the woods several times.
Yeah, but anyways, okay. Yes, this is the first time it's come up. It's not documented. It's not part of their lore.
Then it's probably normal sleep.
Ramis isn't tired. He's happy to take the first shift.
I'll take the second shift.
You have any of them healing wards left?
Aren't you about to get a full night's rest?
Yeah, but it doesn't heal me.
Wait, doesn't a long rest heal you?
Maybe a little bit.
It
I
does.
think it's like a full recovery.
I don't know if it's a full recovery, but it does heal you.
14 hit points. Oh, that'll put me exactly at 30.
It says at the end of a long rest, character regains all lost hit points.
All loss of points, really?
Yeah, what are y'all
As
referencing?
long rest, recover 14 hit points up to 1 hit die, and then a bunch of other little things.
Is that on your character sheet? I'm looking at Roll20.
I'm looking on the D&D Beyond when I hit long rest.
Ah.
I also see on Roll20 that characters regain all lost hit points.
I mean, you're the DM. What should I just long rest? I think there's an option that I can reset my max HP, so I just get full. You want to do that?
Hold on, I'm gonna look up one other thing.
I always thought a long rest was like just like a full reset, but that's
I
just
think that's okay here. Yeah, long rest heals up all of your hit points.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not. It actually reset my max.
Reset your max? What do you mean?
Wait, what's your max hit points now?
It was 30. Now it's 19.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Good thing you checked it.
Yeah, I think I can change it.
All lost hit points. Yeah, I'm seeing all lost hit points.
Yeah, though I see what you're saying, Josh. I don't know why.
No, you know what? You might be right because it says it recovers 14, and I have 16, so 14 plus 16 would make 30.
Oh, so they're just
So
doing
it's
the math.
just
for you.
yeah, it's just doing
Yeah.
the math.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of just saying recover all HP, it's actually giving me a number. Which is
Bastards.
weird.
Making it confusing.
So you will make a full recovery.
Gosh, cats everywhere.
There are cats everywhere. Sorry. Okay, so Ramis is going to take the first shift.
Yep.
Syndra is going to take shift 2. Zug wants to take shift 3. So no eventful things happen at night. All 3 of you hear howling at a distance that you can only imagine is probably wolf howling. And Rudolph, does not sleep at all. He is up all night writing in his journal. Okay, so Zug will restore all of his HP, as will everyone else. And Esmeralda will also restore her HP, and she will recover from most of her wounds. There are still some bruises and gashes, but she has made a recovery. Cool. So y'all wake up and Esmeralda wakes up with first light and she says, another sleepless night. And Rudolph cackles in like a old man who's been up all night way. He says, I had much to journal. I have not journaled in some time for fear of it being found. And he says, will you be taking off today? And she says, well, now that you have arrived and I know that you are here and I know where I can meet you in the future should I need you, I think that my services would be best offered to this group right now. What do you think? And he says, well, certainly not with me and probably better than alone. This group has helped and assisted me without really needing to. And so I believe that you could benefit from traveling together for now. And Esmeralda picks up her bag and she says, let's go.
Weren't we supposed to have a big discussion this morning?
And Kane is attempting to speak and we can't hear him. Nope, can't hear you.
Okay, no.
Yeah, potentially you were, but it seems like no one is attempting to have that discussion. Also, you guys haven't really asked any questions.
Sindra just did. She said that out loud.
Are you saying that out loud to someone?
Yeah.
Who are you
Also,
addressing?
group.
Address
whole
them.
It's just like a passive aggressive suggestion.
Yeah.
Cinder just like standing there like, weren't we supposed to have a conversation today?
Yeah.
I'll stamp my foot at the same time.
Yeah. And Rudolph says, my story can wait for another time.
Rudolph, we don't know that there will be another time.
He says, oh, well. And he walks over to the wooden chest that smells like lavender. And he opens the chest. And he reaches into the chest. And he pulls out a severed head.
Nice.
Fun.
Fun. Yeah, super fun. Yeah. And that's it. And he just shows it to you. Look at this.
This was the bad news that you were going to share.
He says, well, it is more reason why I do not trust the Vistani.
Is Esmeralda reacting?
She's always reacting. But she looks like she has already seen this.
I would ask Rudolph, who's your friend here?
Who's your friend here?
Your lavender scented friend.
Yeah. And Rudolph says, this man was or is named Yan. And the severed head looks like it is in very good condition and it looks kind of waxy and sheeny. And it smells very much, yeah, like the head smells like lavender. Which I will take a knowledge arcana check.
Yes. Come on, Ramis.
Wow.
Two. What is going on?
I don't know. He's
I got a
rolling
2
three.
too.
Oh, there you go.
I've rolled a 1, a 2, and a 3 tonight.
I've rolled 2 2s and a.
Good thing you're
One.
not in combat. You guys are
Yep. My 2 is
Thanks.
actually a 7 though.
Use your algorithm, Kane.
Can we not hear Kane? He says 20?
20.
Of course.
Nice.
Of fucking course.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he's on our side, guys.
Mhm.
So Kane does learn something, the rest of you do not, which is fair.
Ramiz is still asleep.
This head has been embalmed with magic oils.
Mm. Yummy.
And Kane also learns that there is a spell that you could cast on this head to speak to it. The Speak with Dead spell. There is a spell that Kane knows of called Speak with Dead that you could cast to potentially talk with it. And Rudolph says, I offered this man a ride in my wagon because he was outcast from his clan, apparently for stealing, because as we traveled for several days, this man attempted to steal my wagon as well as Piccolo, which is the monkey that was hanging out with Gadolf. Piccolo.
What power level is Piccolo?
Over 9,000 for sure.
I'm so glad you watched Dragon Ball 2.
And Rudolph says, I was lucky enough to get the better of him. And I have asked him questions about the Vistani of Barovia. And he has told me a great deal. He says, if you do head back to Vallaki, do be careful and be on the lookout. The Vistani to the south of Vallaki, they are in presence of what I've heard to be assassins and spies that are working for Strahd.
Guess Ramiz will turn to Esmeralda. Are these not the ones you told us to meet with?
She says, well, I did not know that they were assassins, but still, maybe it would be best for me to meet with them alone.
Hmm.
And she says, but we should not mind that yet. We will travel north, and we most likely will not see many of Vistani on the road.
North to the Mad Wizard.
Yes.
Okay.
And Rotavio says, I keep saying Rotavio. Rudolph says, just pay mind and be careful is all I'm telling you, Esmeralda. And she says, you know better than anyone that I can look out for myself. And he nods. And he says, I will be ascertaining my own information. And I'm sure that we will be able to meet up again in the future. And she says, if you are in trouble, I will find you here. And he says, the same for you. And they give each other sort of an interesting look and gesture. That seems to be some kind of communication that the two of them understand, but you do not. And she says, let us make haste. I hear that the wolves do not prefer to be out during the day. And she winks and calls for the elevator. I guess the elevator's already there. So
Yeah.
she gets onto the elevator. And she is going to head down and out the front door.
I guess we're gonna follow.
Is that all we need to know from our friend Yam? The head in the trunk that smells of lavender?
That's all you did here.
Before we leave, I would like to ask Rudolph why he decides to keep his head in the chest.
I'm gonna make you do it. Address Rudolph.
Okay. Rudolph, why do you have this guy's head in a chest? What purpose do you have holding on to it? And why show us this now?
He says, yes, I know it is quite strange that I keep a severed head in a chest. But Yan has a history of conversations that I can learn from. Yan's head allows it to remember conversations that it has had while I speak to it. And I can ask questions about the Vistani of Barovia as well as Barovia itself. It is a hub of information for me.
Have you learned anything from it that you can share with us that might help us in our travels?
Oh, I lost the meeting. Hold on. Let me get Nate back in here. Participants. There we go. Try again. Okay. Yeah, so Rudolph responds. He knows a great deal about the Vistani, but not much more than I do. He knows of the encampment locations. There is one to the south of Valaki, as we have discussed. You have already been to the Vistani encampment that is over by the Tesser Pool encampment, if you have visited Madame Ava, who resides there. And he says, I also believe that Yan is able to remember conversations that I have had with him. And this will be useful information in the future should I lose my memory somehow.
It's specific foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Rudolph likes to be prepared.
You guys think of anything else to ask? Or should we just go?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Better than nothing.
Let's get on the road.
Magical dragon cookie.
I'm starving.
Ooh, pretty. It
Magical dragon.
Looks like soap.
does, yeah. With little bits of lavender in it.
Looks like a severed head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's severed head cookie over there. Yeah, I mean, you guys can ask whatever questions you would like.
Yep. Sorry, Ramis is remembering things. He hasn't had his coffee yet. What was the fuck? Rudolph. What was it? Argenversholt? Yes. What do you know of the Silver Dragon? We have heard of the leader named Vlad.
He nods and he says, I have heard about this mansion as well, and I did go to inspect it myself to see if I could learn anything. It seems like quite a dangerous place, but where did you hear information about it? Not many people travel there.
Normally, I would say you would not believe me if I told you, but given that this is Barovia, we heard it from a wandering undead. He told us to go there.
That actually seems quite in place. And he says, and it was a friendly invitation.
He did not attack us outright.
And Rudolph nods and he says, I think it would be beneficial to see what it has in store. I have heard the legend and the story of this place that used to be home to an actual silver dragon. The dragon, I presume, has been long dead for quite some time, but used to be an adversary of Strahd's. I'm sure there is information lurking there that could be useful.
Ooh. Do you have any words of wisdom for travelers who might head that way?
Well, many of my encounters with monsters have been with werewolves and also with the undead. And the best thing that you can do if you are going into a situation where you know the undead will be lurking is to be prepared. And he nods towards Esmeralda and he says, she has many tools that might be helpful in that endeavor. And she does. She has like literally an undead kit in her wagon.
Neat.
Very well.
With all the holy water and all the things. I think you guys opened that, didn't you?
Yeah, it's all in Kane's possession now.
Mm.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. And he also tells you there are a few places that I have traveled in my time here in Barovia, and there are a few to be wary of. The first being Salanka Pass, which is quite treacherous. So if you do head down that way at any point, please do proceed with much caution and expect anything. Yeah, you actually have a map.
Yeah.
You can see it.
So wait, so he just said if you go that way, be cautious?
Mm-hmm.
What? And why do you believe we should be headed that way?
He says, if Esmeralda has not already told you, there is legend of a temple that way that Strahd spends much of his time in, and I have good reason to believe that there is a lich that resides there.
That was the temple she was talking about earlier.
Mhm.
Sounds like trouble.
Sounds like necessary trouble.
Okay.
Yep.
We have a mission in the neighborhood first. But we will, if we cross paths again, we will tell you what we have learned.
He nods and he says, we will cross paths again. And he says, oh, wait one moment before you leave. I noticed that you had interactions with the keepers of the feather. What do you know about them?
Raven Lords.
He's referring to
I think it was the dudes who tried to.
Erwin
Yeah.
and his brothers and their father.
Yes, the Raven Transfigurators from the winery.
So it is true then.
Is what true?
They are hybrids.
Were ravens, yes.
How do you know this information?
They've transformed in front of us. Not only that, but we had a nice chat about the winery and the loss of its power. Actually, we have been meaning to go sort out that problem ourselves.
There is a problem at the winery.
A big
Yes.
problem.
He says, this is not something that I was aware of.
Apparently, these pesky druids who sent these vicious little plant creatures after us have been attacking the winery, and they've destroyed almost all of the wine, and apparently the grapes are no longer growing.
Like I said, big problem.
Zug does find great comfort in wine, as do we all.
And Rudolph nods and he stands up and he puts his hand on Zug's shoulder and he says, I can see that this is very personal to you.
It is.
Single tear.
And he says, but if it is the druids and the land is attacking you, of which you speak, I have every belief that they are harboring a Gulthias tree. That is very dangerous magic.
What is a
Magic
Gulthias tree? Wait, I recognize that name. That was like the name of the staff that we picked up and we destroyed to kill all the little bugs, or all the
Yep.
little trees was called a Gulthias staff, wasn't it?
Yes, and all of you remember that staff that I think Cain finally unwittingly broke, that let out a tremendous scream when you broke it, and it destroyed all of the living plants that were attacking you. That was a Gulthias staff. So he says Gulthias tree. Most of you, maybe Barzug, are able to put two and two together that Gulthias staff may have come from Gulthias tree.
Perhaps if we kill said Gulthias tree, then all of the plant monstrosities will be destroyed.
He says Gulthias trees are ancient and full of great power and magic. Do not attempt to approach one without first doing your research and knowing what you are getting into.
But it's still made of wood, right?
Dark, twisted, magical wood.
Wood is wood, and my axe is best when implanted in wood.
Did you just say implanted, Zug? My vocabulary is growing. I'm impressed.
He's spending a lot of time around Reese and Kane.
Being around you all has me flowering.
He's blooming, if you will. Oh God. But no, Rudolph is warning you, and he is warning you greatly that that might not be a simple thing. And he says, and what do you mean druids? Are the druids protecting the Gulthias tree? Are they protecting it from harm?
We did not investigate further than the winery, against my wishes, of course.
And he says, what were druids doing at the winery? He does not yet understand that these are evil druids that you're talking about.
They were most dastardly trying to poison the wine. The only wine in this country, I believe.
The country. In the whole wide country.
World.
In the whole world. And he says, the druids were trying to poison the wine. I wonder if they are growing the Gulthias tree for devious reasons.
Ah,
starts
that
to do
tree
math.
again.
He starts to do math in his head. And he says, huh. This is most certainly directly correlated to Strahd. I can feel it.
Strahd sounds like he has his thumbs in all the pies.
I hope that becomes Zug's like catchphrase.
These ravens have their thumbs in all the wine.
Exactly.
Cult
Looks like
diet
Isaac
tree.
had his thumb in the wrong pie.
And so Rudolph says, a Gulthias tree is vampiric by nature. It feeds off of its surroundings. If druids are protecting it, there's no saying what power they might wield. Proceed with caution.
Ah, that tree is all bark and no bite.
Nice. I actually liked that one.
One inspiration point for Zug. That was a good retort. And Rudolph lets out a hefty howl. But seriously, that tree is no joke.
Rudolph, would you have us avoid it altogether, or should we proceed with caution to destroy it?
I don't think that it would be wrong to investigate stealthily. And he like nods towards Syndra.
And Remise.
He doesn't see you as the stealthy
I got
one.
mad decks.
And he says, but I would not approach it without investigating the situation. In fact, I would not approach it at all. Noted.
So he is saying don't pursue.
He's saying that if you encounter a super magical tree, that you should probably be very careful.
Okay.
He's warning you. He doesn't want to tell you don't do this or do that, but he wants to give you at least some information that you might not have. And he says, do you know where this Gulthias tree might be located?
We have an idea.
Only an idea. A single path into the forest next to the winery.
He says, on Yester Hill then. And he says, that is where the Great Wall is. I have not yet traveled there because I have heard that it is infested with evil spirits. And I am not ready to take that on quite yet. And he again says, I continue to encourage you to just proceed with caution.
Sounds like you need some wine to give you courage.
He says, courage is not what I need, lad. He says, it is wisdom.
Okay, Grandpa.
And when you call him Grandpa, he like gets stern and sad. All right, well, we will cross paths again.
There you go, Zug. You bummed him out.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember reading in
He
the
lost
paper
his
that he
offspring.
had to
Yeah.
murder his own son.
Man.
Oh, so he's not a grandpa.
That's what you should
Doug
have
doesn't
said.
work this out in his head.
This is hurtful information.
Oh.
He is still a human. Well, okay, he's a half elf, but he's still a
Yeah, but he's a
human.
racist
He's
human.
still a humanoid.
We will meet again.
I'll wave enthusiastically by.
What shall we do if we need to meet up with you again in the future?
And he says, she will know how to find me.
Very well.
Best of luck. And he continues to write in his journal as you leave his presence. And you hear a voice from down below. What is taking so long?
We're on our way.
Are we sure we want to travel with her?
As much as I can understand your hesitation, Ramis, you have to admit she does have quite a bit of experience that we lack.
And half the amount of legs each of us has individually.
My God. You are a dick.
I didn't say it to her.
Ramis, I can imagine she might be able to do twice as much ass kicking with that one leg as you can do with both.
We will see, won't we?
You will see. Man, we got some fucking leg haters in the group.
Leg haters.
Some wood leg haters.
We're called ableists.
Yeah, ableist.
Yeah.
That's the word. He's an ableist.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. All right, so are you going to go meet Esmeralda? Yes, no, maybe?
We're going down the elevator for sure.
Heading down the elevator. All right.
elevator.
Okay, so heading down the elevator and
I'll go down first this time.
Oh, okay. Alone, I presume, or is someone getting on that shaft with you?
I mean, we're all going down, right? So if the elevator fails, we'll still be going down.
But if it breaks, that might be bad for the future. Listen, are you gonna go alone or not?
Yes.
Okay. Doug's going alone, which is probably for the best. Okay, so y'all head down, y'all meet her down there. And Esmeralda, as you walk out the front door, is sitting atop her wagon with two spooky ass looking horses standing in front of her wagon.
Nice.
Kane looks surprised.
I think she got my number. She saw me.
Oh, she saw. Okay.
Yeah, she fucking saw you. And she motions to Sindra and she says, come. And she motions to Sindra to join her in the driver's seat. For some reason, she likes Sindra and feels a connection to Sindra.
Ramis will give Sindra the eyebrows.
I'm gonna give him my tag.
She likes Kane too, but she feels a connection to Sindra that is a weird, unspoken connection. So she tells you to come and sit, and she motions for the rest of you to walk nearby or get inside.
Walk nearby.
I mean, the wagon's not going to go that fast. You could probably keep up.
Sure.
Ish. If you were briskly walking, or you could get inside.
We get inside. How often do we get a wagon ride?
No,
Or
you're
you
right.
could, you
You're
could
right.
sit on the back too.
Yeah, Ramis doesn't want to be inside a tiny wagon, but if there's a place for him to sit,
It's not tiny. It's like 10 feet.
It's a pretty big wagon, dude.
that's tiny.
Even Zed could fit in there.
It's like a bedroom.
That's like a
It's not like a bedroom. It's
Like
probably
a-
close to it, almost as long as this bedroom. Maybe not quite.
super spacious
But there's room.
San Francisco bedroom.
All right, so you guys head into the wagon, and Esmeralda is leading you back towards Vistani to the east, towards Vallaki to the east, and is leading you towards the middle of the the town that leads north to the lake area. So if you guys look at your map, which I'm sure you can see, you have yours open. There is a bridge. So as you leave the tower, you head down that path that is east and that heads south to the crossroads that you have actually gone across quite a few times. It's the crossroad where you guys restored that sign. And you pass the crossroads and head towards the east again. And there's a bridge that goes over the river. And
Luna River?
What's that?
Luna River?
Yeah. The one that leads down from Lake Zarovich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys are seeing the bridge I'm talking about. And Esmeralda stops the wagon and she turns to Sindra and she says, "Do you have enemies in Vallaki?"
Mostly friends.
Well, yeah, let's say mostly friends, but we're weary of certain individuals.
She says, "I believe that it would be beneficial for us to park the wagon outside. We could get off here and jump down over the bridge to the river and head north, but that might be dangerous as it is surrounded by wooded area."
Mhm.
She says, "It would be our best bet to park right outside of Vallaki somewhere and head to Lake Zarovich through Vallaki." She says, "It might take us a while to get around the lake."
Around the lake, we should go through the lake.
Under
This
the
is
lake.
a wagon, not a boat.
I guess I'm not there.
You are not there.
We were told there was a way we could cross north of Vallaki.
So you guys start to approach Vallaki, and Esmeralda finds a safe spot, a safe clearing to park the wagon. And she utters the word to make the wagon disappear that I totally remember the word.
Yes, and so does Kane.
Voila.
It's voila.
it's vodka.
Vodka. It is not vodka. The word to activate it is drovash, I remember. What is the word to deactivate it?
Stop.
Stop. Stop. No, it's hold on. I got this.
Is that the word?
Arvesh. There it is. That's the word. And she says, "Arvesh!" And suddenly the horses dissipate and twinkle out of existence. And she hops off and she knocks on the wagon and she says, "We are here." And she begins to march her way towards the Vallaki gate, which is open during the daytime.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
During the daytime.
son of a bitch. We should have just waited.
It closes at nightfall.
Remise will follow.
All right. She heads into town. The road seems to be quite empty. There doesn't seem to be a lot of people around. And she begins to head straight towards the northern entrance to where the lake is located. So she heads in from the west, walks east, gets towards the middle of the town, takes a little bit of time, not a lot. You guys don't actually see anyone that you recognize along the road. You see a few villagers here and there. You pass by Gadov's shop. And then you head north and you walk right by the Blue Water Inn that you are familiar with. And she continues to head north along the path that leads to the lake. Is there anything that you guys want to do? Anything different? Or are you just going to continue to follow her?
Yeah, we should follow her.
Just keep
We're
following her?
trying to adventure.
Okay.
Fuck this town.
And as you reach the clearing of the woods and see the vastness of the lake, there are several rowboats that are sitting there on the shore. And she says, this is a much more suitable way to travel.
This is why we are here.
Mm-hmm. The rowboats look like they could probably seat 3 to 4 people apiece, but probably not all 5 of you, especially with Zug.
I will jump into a rowboat.
All right, so Zug's going to jump into a rowboat. Does anyone want to
Yeah.
join Zug's rowboat?
And I'm going to take off.
Oh, Zug's just going to take off by himself. Okay. How about the rest of you? Esmeralda will begin to grab and drag a rowboat into the middle of the lake.
I guess Bernice will nod at Kane and start dragging a rowboat.
Yes.
The 4 of you could probably fit into one rowboat.
We
None
go
of
ahead
you
and
are
do that.
huge people.
Oh, we can all share one with Esmeralda.
Yeah, the
Okay.
four of you, Sindra, Kane, Remis, and Esmeralda could probably share a rowboat. It
Okay.
appears as if you can. There's 2 rows and they're big enough for 2 people to sit in.
Sure.
So with Zug just taking off on his own, I guess the 4 of you can go together should you like. And as you begin to make your way into the water, anyone who looks out into the lake notices that there is a man sitting in a rowboat in the middle of the lake by himself.
How big is this lake?
It's pretty big.
So this guy is like a speck on the horizon.
Not a speck. He's probably what, like, let's see if I can actually do some math here. Ooh.
So he's like half mile away.
He's probably like 3/4 of a mile-ish away. He's like, yeah.
That's pretty far.
So if you guys are right there, he's probably like here-ish. So he's probably like 3/4 of a mile away, but you can make out that there's a man sitting on a rowboat in the middle of the lake.
Does that seem strange to us?
No. It's probably fishing.
It seems a little strange that like he's alone and there's nobody else around, and that the people of Valaki have told you that like nobody goes to the lake. So like it's a little curious, but there's nothing suspicious that you can see because you're kind of far.
It's none of my business. I'm going to keep rowing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you guys continue to row, and I'm guessing you guys are in the boat at this point, in the rowboat on the lake. So just to give you a little bit of context, the lake is super dark. The water is very dark, like unnaturally dark, like almost navy, right? And as you begin to row across the quite still lake, you reach sort of the center, and you can see you're a bit closer to the man who is maybe less than 1/4 mile away from you as you begin to row towards the middle of the lake. And I will have you all roll a perception check.
Remis. Come on, Remis. Oh my god. I rolled a 1.
Where's my
10.
Wow, 10.
What is going on here?
I rolled my passive perception.
it's a perception check, you said?
Yeah.
Not good. 10.
Are they all bad?
That is 11.
11. And Esmeralda's is very low too. So from what you guys can make out, you can see kind of what appears to be a middle-aged man. He's got some dark hair, and he's just sitting in the rowboat in the middle of the lake, and he's not moving at all. and there is a fishing pole in the boat, but he is not holding it. It's just sitting there next to him.
Is he just sitting there,
He's
unmoving?
just sitting there, completely unmoving, with a fishing rod next to him. And he is not moved at all.
Who's rowing?
In your boat?
Yeah.
Probably is.
I guess Ramis will call out to her. Do you know our sleepy fisherman?
And she says, no.
Do you not find it strange?
I find everything here to be strange.
Well, what should we do about him?
And suddenly, Esmeralda calls out and she says, hello? Are you all right? And the man does not respond to the call.
Ramis will look at Kane. Says, where is your feathery friend?
He's always flying around.
He's delivering Harry Potter's mail right now. Sorry.
Oh, he's always like around me. If we're outside right now, I'm inside the wagon, so he'd be flying alongside the wagon somewhere.
No, we're in canoes, dog.
You are in the
Oh.
rowboat.
Then he's flying around the boat.
Mhm.
Would you like to have him fly around the other boat?
How far is the? Wait, did Zug just like peel off into the distance?
No, I'm by you guys. I'm just in a rowboat by myself.
No, the problem that we're having is Kane is not listening to what's happening. Yeah. There is a
Go have
man in
your-
a rowboat in the middle of the lake who is unresponsive.
I heard that part. Is it? You said he was in the middle of the lake, and the lake is like a mile. Like it's huge, isn't it? It's like multiple miles.
It's
My,
like a
my
mile,
owl can't go that far.
but-
But we're
over
close
a mile.
enough that Esmeralda just tried to call out to him.
Yeah, she yelled out to the guy in the rowboat, and he did not respond at all.
Oh, if we're close enough, then I can send the owl over. I have a limited range on the owl. I can't.
Yeah, I don't think your 80 feet is going to cut it.
Is it 80 feet?
Yeah,
No, it's closer than 80 feet
your range.
for the owl. Yeah, it's more than 80 feet, but it's not miles.
Useless. Okay.
I think, aren't we just like a quarter mile away from the boat now?
Mm-hmm. Maybe that. Maybe even closer. It's like
I'm
close
gonna
to
call out. I'm gonna call out to the group because I noticed this fisherman too, and I noticed that you guys are like hesitating and try to contact him and whatnot. And I just yell out, "You want me to bump him?"
that. Esmeralda says, "It is very suspicious that he is not responding."
Ramis is gonna do one of these.
I'm gonna go start paddling that way then.
All right, so Zug begins to paddle towards the man in the rowboat.
Mhm.
And as Zug gets closer, the man appears to be alive and breathing, but is not moving at all. And how close are you wanting to get? You gonna like paddle right up to him? Paddle right up to the boat?
Which
or-
way is he like facing? Because we're all facing south, right? Because we're going north. Which way is
His boat is facing slightly south, like it's cocked towards south.
What about him though?
Also southwest. So like the front of the boat is facing.
Okay, so he can totally see us.
He can
coming.
see you. Yes.
Okay.
Presumably he would be able to see you.
I want to get within like 10 feet so I can take a good look at him.
All right. So you start paddling towards him, and you start to get in closer and closer range. And as you approach the boat, you can see he has dark hair, and his eyes are sunken. And suddenly, the man abruptly reaches down into the boat and he lifts up a bumpy looking burlap sack. And he abruptly tosses the sack into the water right in front of you. And as he tosses that sack, you could swear that you see it moving.
I want to reach for it. I want to grab it.
And with that, next time on the curse of man in the middle of the lake.
Neat.